Cleaning the bass this way is a little bit more time consuming way to clean them, but it's so effective. You virtually waste zero meat. You can clean it right down to the bones in every single spot, including the skin. The process on these is fairly simple. There's a couple steps to it, but the first thing I do is just split the skin all the way around on both sides where I'm going to cut the fillet off. You can see in spots that the skin is quite thick on these, so it's kind of tough to cut through. This knife is very, very sharp. They've got big scales too, which makes cutting through the skin a little bit more challenging. I can use electric fillet knife on some of these, but these ones that are a little bit bigger, I like to use just a regular knife. I find a regular fillet knife, the blade is a little bit too flexible for cutting through the skin. But basically you just cut the skin all the way around the fillets. You're going to take it off and then just take the knife and follow the bones on the inside of the fillet. Bass do have kind of a Y bone that you have to cut around. It's a little bit tricky, but if you just take your time and use a good sharp knife, you'll have an amazing result, as you'll see at the end of the video. One of the great things about cleaning fish this way is that you get no skin on the meat, there's no bones in it, so it makes it much easier for people to eat, especially kids. My kids anyways, I find that any fish with little bones in it makes it really challenging for them to eat it. They don't care for it much. So you just work really hard to keep the meat fresh, keep it clean, cut it up, debone it, and cook it in a way that's very palatable for everyone to enjoy. But this is one of my favorite ways as well. But when you clean them this way, it will give you a really nice boneless fillet that's all in one piece with no skin on it as well. So it's a great way to clean them. There's probably a lot of different ways to do this, but this is just my personal preference on how I like to clean them. Just to give a sense of how much meat we got off those 5 bass, there was 4 pounds of just fillets. So I got broke them up into 1 pound packages, 3 vacuum sealed to go into the freezer, 1 for dinner tonight, because there isn't too many things that I look better than fresh bass without it being frozen. But vacuum sealed, they'll go into the freezer. Vacuum sealing will help them maintain the integrity of the meat and quality for over a year. We always vacuum seal all the fish that go into the freezer. I don't like throwing the carcasses of the fish in the garbage. It just doesn't feel to me like that's where they should go. And you got to be careful about putting fish remains back in a lake. So usually what I do is just take all the carcasses and the guts and everything that I end up with at home and just bury them in the garden for fertilizer. My raspberries and tomato plants just absolutely love it. And all that energy from the carcasses goes back into the ground. So just feel a little bit better about burying the carcasses rather than throwing them in the garbage.